As we mentioned just before the break, there is one county in the state of Idaho which does have Spanish language on their ballots. It's all the way up in Clark County, and they have been federally required to do so since 2021. Our Richard Rodriguez traveled up to Clark County to speak with election officials who say even though they have that resource, it hasn't translated to more Hispanic voters.
In the easternmost part of the state, north of Idaho Falls, is Clark County. Idaho is known for its agriculture, and the quiet town of Du Bois, Idaho, is no different.
It is very rural.
Here in Clark County, things are a little bit different. Federal law requires ballots to have Spanish language printed on them. We spoke to the county clerk who says it's a great resource, but more needs to be done.
Correct. We are the only county required to have it on our ballots.
That's Stephanie Stewart, the county clerk. She says they have the Spanish translation because of the Federal Voting Rights Act.
There's a code that says you have to meet a certain criteria. You have to have either 10,000 people or greater than 5% who are only Spanish speaking.
The code is Section 203 and extends protections to language minorities, including Spanish speakers. Census data reports the county is above that 5%, so Clark County, in 2021, is now required to have Spanish translations. It aims to help eligible voters who only know Spanish vote.
¿Hay muchos hispanos aquí?
Conocidos que vivimos aquí en este pueblo, sí hay algunos hispanos, sí.
Mendoza has lived in Du Bois for over 30 years, and she says she came to the U.S. with her parents at a young age. And she is a dual citizen, which allows her to vote.
Sí puedo votar.
But never has, even though the ballot lists items such as positions, initiatives, and instructions in Spanish.
No, yo no sabía que había palabras en español para cuando uno va a votar.
¿No sabías eso?
No. No es que no había votado, pero este año sí.
Stewart says less than 10% of Spanish-speaking voters in Clark County go to the polls, and having this resource hasn't translated to more votes. But both women believe with more outreach, more Hispanic voters would vote.
Ellos también deben de pasar la información a otras personas para que todos vayamos sabiendo.
For all counties in the state, voters are allowed to bring a translator with them to the polls, but some say it's a Band-Aid to a problem.
I think that there's definitely a population that's underserved in the state. It makes sense to me why we're required to have that on our ballot, but I definitely think there's an opportunity for other counties to step up and have it on their ballot as well.
Stewart told me that if she wasn't representing everyone in her county, she wouldn't be doing her job. She also says the Spanish translation on the ballot ups up costs because it's 4 pages, and it takes more time as they're a hand-count county. In an effort to help Spanish speakers, she has requested the Spanish translation of the Secretary of State's online voter pamphlet. And Joe, she said that she did this because she wants to represent her community.
And my question for you is, comparing Canyon County, closer to us, versus Clark County, why doesn't Canyon County have Spanish on their ballot?
That's a good question, Joe. And the reason why is because they have to meet the federal requirements of 203 of the Federal Voting Act. Basically, if they don't meet that 10% or if they don't meet that 5% or over 10,000 voters, exclusively Spanish speaking, then they don't need to have it. So Canyon County didn't reach either of them, so they don't have it.
It'll be interesting to see as that community grows in Canyon County if they do hit that threshold. Richard Rodriguez reporting here on Viewpoint. Thank you so much for your time, Richard.